All right, so today we're talking about angle of elevation and depression. So we're still going to be using trig. An angle of elevation and depression is just a vocabulary word that they're going to use to describe where the angle goes. Instead of saying like, oh, it's the angle between the ladder and the ground, they can just say angle of elevation, and you're supposed to know where that goes. So an angle of elevation is from the line of sight, sight looking up, okay? So what we're talking about, this is a stick figure, and this is a bird, if you can't tell by my beautiful drawing. So the person is looking up at the bird. So here's your normal line of sight is straight ahead, and then you look up. So this angle right there, that is your angle of elevation. Okay, so we put theta in there, but it goes in the bottom of the triangle. Okay, so let's look at an actual example where they use angle of elevation. So it says Alex casts a shadow. This is Alex, stick figure Alex, casts a shadow that is 5.25 feet long. Okay, so here's Alex. Alex's shadow, if we are not aware, shadows appear on the ground. So if this makes it easier for you, like here's Alex's shadow on the ground. Okay, shadow on the ground, and it is 5.25. So I'm going to put 5.25 on the shadow. Okay, the next part says the angle of elevation to the sun is 48. So here's the sun over here. Hello. So the angle of elevation, we know it goes in the bottom. So let's underline that. And that means the bottom of the triangle. And it's 48. So it goes on the inside right there. That's going to be 48 degrees. And the question wants to know, how tall is Alex? That means where we put X. Here's Alex. So I put X on there. So now we're still going to do exactly the same steps. We're going to label. We're going to pick an equation. We're going to write the equation. We're going to type it in the calculator. So when I label, here's my right angle right here. Using this is my right triangle. So across from that is H. We know my 48 degrees over here. That's my angle. So that's theta. Between theta and 90, this is A. And my last side is O. And I'm going to box in the things that I have. So I have O and theta and A. Okay, so if I need O and A, that's going to be tan. Tangent. So tangent, theta equals O over A. I'm plugging in the numbers for theta and O and A. So tan of theta was 48. My O is the letter X. And A was 5.25. And I'm solving this equation. Well, my X in this equation is in the top. So that means I'm supposed to multiply. So I'm going to move that 5.25 into the front. And I'm going to type that in. 5.25 times tan 48. So we're going to type that in. 5.25 tan 48. 48. And over here says 5.83. So we're going to say 5.8. And that's my answer. So it's the same thing we were just doing, but now it's going to say angle of elevation, and that tells you where to put your angle. Okay. The other vocabulary word they can use is angle of depression. So instead of elevation where we're looking up, now it's going to be from the line of sight looking down. And it's actually going to be on the outside of the triangle. So if this is your line of sight and then you look down, this is a bug on the floor. Okay, so that means that your angle of depression, you would write on the outside. Okay, but little fun fact, your angle of elevation is equal to the angle of depression. Now, what does that mean for me in my picture? Well, that means that if they tell me angle of depression, I can still write it in the bottom. Oh, on the inside of the triangle. I'm still going to write it down there because this and this is the elevation angle. This is depression angle. We just said they're equal. So whether they tell you elevation or depression, you're still going to write the angle down in the bottom. Okay. So let's look at this picture, this question. So it says, too far. Osmond is standing on top of a building and sees a car in the parking lot below. So here's Osmond, here's the car. The angle of depression to the car is 43 degrees, and the building is 84 feet tall. How far away is the car from the building? So technically, angle of depression, Osmond's angle of depression out here is 43. But I know whether it says depression or elevation, I can still write it in the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put that 43 down there. What else did they tell me? They told me the building is 84 feet tall. So on the building, that's 84. How far away is the car from the building? That's X. So we measure how far away it is on the ground. So that's going to be X. Okay. Now the triangle that I am looking at, I'm looking at this triangle right here. That's why I put 43 down there, because this 43 is on the outside. That does not help me with this triangle. That's why we put it still down on the inside. And now we solve. Same as always. Green. So I label, oh, here's the right angle. So 43 is my angle. So theta across from the right angle is H, A, and O. I'm boxing in the things that I have with numbers. So O and A and theta. And I look at my chart, which equation has O and A. That's going to be tan again. And I'm plugging in my numbers. So tan, what was theta? 43 equals, my O was 84 over X. Where's my X? How do I solve this up? The X is in the bottom, so I'm going to be dividing. So I'm switching places. So it's going to be 84 divided by tan. 43. And we're going to type that in. 84 divided by tan. 43. It said 90.07. The 7, does that make 0 bigger or keep it the same? Bigger. So that's going to be 90.1. Final answer. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and get started. Make sure you're putting, whether it says angle of depression or elevation, you put it in the bottom corner. Go ahead and get started on the formative.